was working in banana plantations, the endocrine disrupting compounds that they were using, especially the nematicides and some of the insecticides, were not approved for use in the European Union, but they were used throughout Costa Rica, and those bananas were exported to countries all over the world.
Everything what human beings do day by day, its impact, positive and negative, on the environment.
So near the Puerto Viejo and Serapequi rivers, there's been a lot of banana development in this region. So we've been interested in looking to see how different pesticides affect the insect populations that are in banana plantations. Most of the insecticides and nematicides that are used to control nematodes and caterpillars are endocrine disruptors. So if you look at endocrine disruptors in insects, there's a couple different types. There's juvenile hormone mimics, and then there's ecdysone mimics. And the ecdysone mimics will also impact the endocrine systems of humans, and this is why some of them are really toxic to humans and really dangerous to humans who are working in the banana plantations.
Mi nombre es Humberto García. Las experiencias que he tenido es en un proyecto que fue para un investigador que estaba haciendo una tesis. Primeramente estuvimos visitando varias plantaciones bananeras y colectábamos las orugas. Él quería determinar cuántas especies más o menos atacan la plantación, porque para nosotros pues, no lo vemos como plaga. Mientras que para las empresas bananeras, las especies de orugas, ellos las ven como plagas, entonces están siempre tratando de eliminarlas. Después, paralelo a eso, hicimos algunas colectas con el grupo y con Lee, y a veces salíamos con dolor de cabeza por los pesticidas que a veces ponen. Creo que es una especie de nematicida, porque los nemátodos atacan mucho la planta y dañan mucho las plantaciones, pero tienen que tener el control de esos nemátodos.
So the big challenge is how we can control disease on a crop. It's not easier, especially in the rainforest with that many rain and fungus and bacteria which is produced in here because of that weather. So this is the big challenge that we have on the crop actually, how control that type of fungus and bacteria to not use chemics on the crop. That makes, of course, more difficult if you do monocrop because this is, if it's a fungus that will be attack the whole plants that you have in the same area because all of them are the same genetic information. So if you work with more distributed crops and more different kinds of crop in the same area, that is kinds of ecosystem. And that helps that you don't have to use that many quantities of chemics or chemics on that short areas. So basically, in the case of that big corporations or that big monocrops, of course, are impact in the environment directly with flora and fauna because they are getting a problem which is not getting the real color of animals in the skin or in the hair that they have. So of course it's impact the environment, it's impacting flora and fauna, but also the humans. In a case of a specific banana plantation, they produce with a type of chemics that make unfertilize the people.
It's very difficult to get permission to do any work on banana plantations, especially from the big companies, and a lot of what they're using in their mixes of pesticides are proprietary information.
If you're thinking about chemically mediated interactions, because we haven't mastered biology, and then you layer on top of this the chemistry that interacts with various biochemical mechanisms to produce a result, it's really difficult to know exactly what is happening. That type of endocrine disruption that leads to off-cycling or changing the developmental cycle of an insect is great because all the insects might have they all have an endocrine system that's dependent on them hatching at the right time, developing correctly, and all those things. But when you have a general biochemical mechanism that you're targeting, it lacks then specificity.
In the middle of banana plantations, we were studying the survival of birds' nests. So we had the chance to be working in those plots where, like every 3 days, they were sprayed with the planes, putting the chemical over whatever is on their way. You can feel it on your skin, and it itches and sometimes a yellowish color coming out of the rain. So it was an interesting experience because I don't live next to a banana plantation, but that makes me think about how about the people who their houses is in between banana plantations. 70% of the people in Sarapiquí depend on bananas or pineapples. When visitors come from other country, what should I tell them? To buy or not to buy our pineapples and bananas? It's because the economical system is also very important.
Aquí ataca mucho en una época del año. Hay una alta tasa de personas infectadas con el dengue. Entonces ese mosquito ya es un problema en las zonas rurales. Entonces, cuando hay mucho brote, el Ministerio de Salud manda fumigar en las noches. Ella en las noches no solamente va a matar al mosquito, sino va a matar todo lo que pueda. Mi esposa siempre maneja jardín. Y a ella le gustan mucho las mariposas y las abejas que llegan y a ella le gusta mucho. Y cuando ellos pasan fumigando, pues uno puede ver que amanecen muertas. Entonces uno ahí se da cuenta de que ellos están atacando un problema, pero están creando otro.
I really like to try to apply what we've learned from natural systems to these managed systems and to try to provide some useful information to farmers who are trying to do a good job producing food for others.
We are just trying to save the world. I'm going to do my part.
I think it's important to continue to study kind of evolved plant herbivore interactions and the chemistry that underlies them, because it's there that you can find specific modes of targeting maybe a pest that's impacting a crop in an industry, but might have a more specific action on something and develop as a more selective means of pest control.
Sometimes we think the power it's under that big corporation hands, but it's not true. The power it's just for every individual customer. So if we decide to change how to consume, they have to change how to produce.